what you want to do when you're trying to prepare the peppers is, first of all, when you pick them from the plants, you want to obviously first you want to clean them and destem them. Assuming that you have some kind of dehydrator, then what you want to do is you want to cut up the peppers. I like to cut them up in more than just half. People say just cut them up in half, but you'll see why I think it's important to do it more than just half. So I cut them up into multiple slices, and again, wear 2 masks, gloves when you're doing that. And I'll send you a picture of the dehydrator here. You want to, a dehydrator that I really like. You want to probably put it about 140 degrees, and you want to dry them for about, let's call it 24 hours. Any hotter and it gets too crisp, any lower, and you might find that it's still kind of moist and you don't want that moisture. So I would strongly recommend about 140 degrees, at least in the dehydrator that I use. And you want to go for about 24 hours. But, check on it every once in a while and kind of go to your liking. Obviously, there's peppers of different sizes. It depends on how much you cut them. But based on what I like to do, that's kind of what I would recommend. So, right here, I have some chocolate habaneros. I'm sure you're dealing with pods. So what happens is when they're dry, you're going to get something like this coming out, right? The pods. And what I like to do is, if you still have them, put them in some kind of like Ziploc bag or a bag like this. The first thing I like to do is crush them, right? And I crush them by hand, not going directly into some kind of blender. But even in a bag like this, you could just crush them, right? If they're really dry, they should crush really well. In this case, these ones are like a little bit leathery, so they're not crushing too well. Here, I'm going to crush this here for you so you could see it. And this is a step that I really like to go through, because what happens is you really can see quickly here that the seeds all drop to the bottom, right? Now, the seeds, as you probably know, are not really the spicy part of a pepper. A lot of people don't know that, but if you grow your own peppers, you probably know that. So you see how quickly the seeds came out? Now, I have spoken to people that they like to deseed when the peppers are still fresh. It's a real pain in the butt to do that. If you have the patience, there are tools for that. I don't do that, because if you see here, very quickly, we've separated out the seeds, right? So now we have this, sort of the veins, the fruit, the plant, separated out from the seeds pretty well. Then, depending on the quantities that you're dealing with, I have like this large, a little bit more of an industrial grinder that I use when I'm, for bigger bulk. But I really don't run it high. You don't want to go to a powder. This is where the trick is. You see these? You want to kind of keep it to what I call sort of a fine flake, which is sort of the pre-powder mode. So I might take this here. I don't want to grind it too much. I want to keep an eye on it. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I'm going to stop right there. Let's look at what we have. So here we have what I'd call sort of a fine flake. See, it's about the right consistency. You don't want to press it too hard. Maybe just a little bit more than that. Try to keep it below the little marks there, right? Okay, here we go. So now, let's check this out. Yep. And that's really what you want it to be like, right? So that's the type of powder that we go for when it comes out. So it goes from pods to that kind of flake that we put inside the coffee grinder, and then we grind it to about this level of texture so that it can go in here and come out like this. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for your support.